What we have today is it started as a robbery call and then resulted in an officer-involved shooting. Uh, the most fortunate thing right now is our officer only sustained minor injuries. He's transported to the hospital for the evaluation. It is believed that he will recover and potentially maybe released tonight. The suspect is also transported. He is in stable condition and he is in surgery. I will first briefly go over the incident, and then I would allow the opportunity for Chief Cantu to relay the message in Spanish, and I will open up for some questions. But just be mindful, the scene is pretty complex, expand to two different areas, one where the robbery occurred and also the officer involved shooting. So it is pretty complex. And the information I'm putting out right now is preliminary. And I do want to re-emphasize it is preliminary. Things can change, as we develop, and find out additional information, right? So roughly at approximately 2:30 p.m. today, a call was dropped, a robbery in progress at the 3300 block of Liberty, which is the Family Dollar, roughly a block and a half away from here. So I also began responding to the call. At the same time, a dispatcher also broadcasted the information, at least the suspect description, over the radio. So as the primary unit was heading to the robbery to address that, our secondary unit also responding, with one officer responding, and happened to spot the suspect at the 2500 block of Brewster. So basically, put in perspective, this is Quitman, and the side street behind me is Brewster, spotted the suspect at the intersection. So as the officer approached the suspect to conduct his investigation, suspect began taking off running behind a field on the corner lot, roughly about half a block away from here, running behind the corner block. And as you can imagine, it is a robbery call, so officer began pursuing the suspect on foot. So as the officer confronted the suspect and getting ready to grab a hold of him, shortly thereafter a struggle ensued, to the point that it is believed, as I mentioned again, based on the officer's account right now, it is preliminary, that the suspect evidently probably got the best of the officer, first attempting to disarm the officer and also at some point assaulting him. Now, officer do sustain minor scratches and cut all of his face and also probably some bruising as well. At the same time, the fight continued and also was fighting for his life based on the witnesses that we have interviewed so far, based on one of the witnesses' account that the officer was fighting for his life. So as the struggle continued, behind me, take it out to the street, and also was in fear's life, discharged at least one time, striking the suspect. Thankfully, subsequent unit arrived, provided a life-saving measure to the suspect, and he is subsequently transported shortly thereafter to the hospital, Bentov, and he is in stable condition in surgery right now. This is what I do know. I do know is the fact that the suspect do have a lengthy, criminal history. It is believed that he does have a confirmed open felony warrant for theft at this time. At the same time, we're still conducting our investigation, try to interview witnesses as much as we possibly can, and we're also looking for surveillance video. I am confident this is a pretty saturated neighborhood, and I'm pretty sure a lot of folks see, perhaps witness the event. I do encourage them to come forward, to call us, to call Homicide Division at 713-308-3600. Also, if there are any additional videos that are found, please come forward to present them to us. Per protocol, our homicide investigator with the Special Investigation Unit is out here investigating the scene. Our Internal Affairs Division is also running a concurrent administrative investigation. At the same time, our partners with the District Attorney's Office is also conducting their parallel investigation. Officer is currently, as I mentioned earlier, in stable condition, for further evaluation at the hospital. And once he gets released, per policy, he'll be placed on administrative duties. This is all I got at this time, and I will turn over briefly to Chief Cantu to translate in Spanish. Say again?
Answer questions in English.
I can. So it was during the struggle. It is believed that the suspect, it was shot in the back. As like the witness said, right. Also was fighting for his life. During a pretty, I would imagine, pretty intense struggle.
Did the suspect have a weapon?
I'm sorry, one at a time, please.
Was he trying to grab the officer's taser?
That was some point he was tried to disarm the officer. Then again, this is the investigation is still preliminary. Officers at the hospital right now have not made it to the hospital, but just be mindful. My chief is not here right now. My chief is at the hospital checking on our officer.
Did he have a weapon, the suspect?
So I would imagine, as I mentioned earlier, this is a preliminary investigation. The officer do sustain minor cuts and scratches, and I don't know what the weapon is. Perhaps that's going to be part of the investigation. But you can only imagine, behind the field right there, there's heavy vegetation, trees, limbs, and all kinds of potential weapons.
About the robbery, was he robbing the store? Was he robbing a person? Do you know anything about that?
So it is believed at this time, suspect went into the business. He stole beer. And when the clerk tried to stop him, he assaulted the clerk.
Could you define assault?
Say again?
What happened with the assault? What do
You
you mean by that?
mean at the business?
Yes.
Yeah, I have not made it there yet. Based on what's presented to me right now is suspect went in and stole beer from the business and attempted to leave when the clerk tried to stop the suspect, and he assaulted the clerk, right?
Could you provide additional clarity on what it means when he was trying to disarm him? Was it his gun? Was it his taser? Because we've heard different things.
So right, so as I mentioned, I don't want to over speculate and I don't want to make any assumption right now. Based on what I have right now, he has tried to disarm the officer. Like I say, I have not made it to the scene yet to talk to the officer.
A witness told us that the suspect was hitting him,
So,
punching him.
so based on the witness's account, I did not get an opportunity to speak with the witness, one of the witnesses directly, but it is the account right now. The officer was fighting for his life.
Do you know, does that church back there have surveillance cameras?
So that's part of the investigation. We're still canvassing the area, looking for additional witnesses to come forward, and also looking for the surveillance camera. But just be mindful. I know you guys probably asked, so I'm just gonna get ahead of it. Our officer is a 2-year, veteran, in his mid-20s, and the suspect is a black male in his about 30s, and he is in stable condition right now. So.
I heard you mention that the homicide unit is on scene here. Why is that?
Well, this is part of our protocol. It's our investigation unit, a special investigative unit, investigate all officers involved shooting, and they're part of the homicide division. Yes, good question.
It seems like the officer is lucky to be okay from this.
As I mentioned, so yes, right. Keep him and his family in our prayers. I can only imagine, despite the fact that he may sustain some minor injuries, what he's going through right now, fighting for his life. Right. Just be mindful. At that moment, the information he has was a robbery suspect. A robbery is in progress, and now he's fighting for his life. Right. But I don't want to over speculate. I can only present the information that I have available to me at this time.
And it's all pretty much that officer and the suspect, right? There's no other officers involved in like the.
That is correct. Single officer spotted the suspect, confronted the suspect, which led to a pretty intense struggle. There are subsequent officers arrived afterward to provide life-saving measure to the suspect. Thankfully, for those life-saving measure, I have to believe that this is the reason why the suspect is in stable condition right now in the hospital.
We've been told the suspect is homeless. Can you confirm that?
That's going to be part of the investigation. I have not heard that, but you know what? Then again, it's pretty preliminary right now. So.
But a lengthy criminal history, you were saying.
That is correct. That is
You
correct.
Are you releasing any sort of body camera footage?
That within 30 days, that's part of our process. We basically release the investigation and all body cam associated with that. Yes.
So just to confirm, no weapon was found on the suspect?
Well, then again, the crime scene unit is out here still processing the scene, right? So I don't know. I have not made it back to the field where the actual struggle occurred. So yes. So to answer your question right now, to my knowledge, right now, no weapons has been found.
Anything you want to say to the citizens that live in this area that might be afraid to speak up for what they saw? Because we got a lot of people talking to us. They may be afraid to talk to police.
They should not. I mean, you know what? It's always, I think my chief has done an exceptional job, and his biggest platform is the fact that we're always going to remain honest and transparent, right? We do encourage anyone with any additional information to come forward to let us know, to give us those information, and that's going to be critical and key to our investigation.
Was the struggle here?
The struggle, you put in perspective, so this is the street where I'm standing on right now. It's Quitman Street, running east and west, just one street over. It's going to be Brewster, basically North and South Street. It's at the field behind me, catty corner behind me, on the intersection with Quitman and Brewster.
Did he assault the clerk as he was leaving? As the clerk was trying to stop him?
Yes, that's the information I have so far. As he was trying to leave after he stole the beer, and the clerk tried to stop him, and he assaulted the clerk.
You don't have any specifics on that, right?
I don't. Then again, like I say, right, I don't want to over speculate, and I don't want to make any assumptions, right? And also, I want to provide the most accurate information. I don't want to provide just any information out there, right? So as information continues to develop, then we'll push it out and disseminate it as needed. But one more question.
A witness said that the suspect was already pinned to the floor, face down, with the officer on top of him when the officer shot him in the back. Is that something you can confirm?
I don't believe I heard that account. The only account I heard from the witness, one of the witnesses, was the fact that the officer later came and provided life-saving measure to the suspect by providing what they call it, in medical term, would be some sort of a chest seal. Chief.
Soy Patricia Cantú, asistente jefe de policía. Aquí tenemos el ejecutivo, asistente Chen, y también el comandante del homicidio, Hasek, y el comandante Cantú del noreste división. Aquí a las 2:30 recibimos una llamada de la tienda de la Family Dollar que estaba ocurriendo un robo. A las 2:30 recibieron esa llamada. En la Liberty Road, los oficiales llegaron un par de minutos a la tienda y entre ese tiempo el oficial estaba buscando al ratero. El despacho les dio descripción del sospechoso. Entonces, cuando el oficial que estaba manejando solamente él estaba buscando, lo encontró en la calle La Brewster, aquí atrás de la tienda. Entonces lo vio. El sospechoso corrió, entonces el oficial lo siguió, entonces comenzaron a pelear. El sospechoso atacó al oficial y entonces se poniendo forzablemente, pelearon bien fuerte. Entonces en un momento hubieron las peleas atrás de la iglesia y luego se encontraron en esta calle, entre la calle y entre la iglesia es donde disparó el oficial. Tenemos testigos que dicen que el oficial estaba luchando por su vida, que posiblemente estaba el sospechoso tratando de desarmar al oficial, y en ese tiempo los dos oficiales llegaron después del disparo. Solamente se disparó una vez y en ese momento los oficiales comenzaron a ayudar al sospechoso que le dieron un balazo entre atrás en el cuerpo. En este momento el oficial está bien, estamos rezando por el oficial y también por el hombre que estaba balaceado. Él también en este momento lo están operando, pero estaba hablando aquí en este momento cuando lo llegaron el médico y también en el hospital antes de llevarlo a cirugía. El oficial solamente tiene 2 años en el departamento y está en condición estable. ¿Hay algunas preguntas? ¿No? ¿Nada? Ok, gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.